very happy because I really am. I am not even tired. I woke up early today at like 5, probably even 4, but I went back to sleep. So let's just say 5:30, and it's been great. There's a Bible verse that says how beautiful it is, like when the brothers come together, and I kid you not, I am seeing it. Because I try sometimes to wake up early in the morning, more often than not, to like read my devotional, but I will just fall asleep. You know that thing, sometimes you pray alone but you don't feel that thing, and then you're with dozens and dozens of other young people, and you guys are just praying together and you're just worshiping together, and it's so cool because you guys are literally together for one reason, and that is to glorify God, and it's just working out so beautifully, and I am so excited. And I think this is a very good sign. Like, if you're watching this and you've been considering doing a reset, I don't think you should wait for the end of the year and say new year, new me. You can do a reset anytime it's necessary. So do feel free to also just go away for some time, get off your phone, get off social media, and just interact with real people that have the same also objectives as you. Because a lot of people are interacting with other people, and that's okay, but the more you spend time with people that are not on the same path or don't want to reach the same destination as you are in trouble. So take some time out and find the person who has the same objective as you. And sometimes it's a little ones, like if you want to grow spiritually, find somebody who also wants to grow spiritually. And then in terms of other parts of your life, you want to advance in your career, find somebody who is in a higher position than you etc., so that you can be influenced by association, because that does exist. When you sit with people that are kind of sort of like what you want to be, eventually you will find that you are just that. So do take some time and think about it. And this is not just limited to spiritual growth, but anything that you want to do, that you feel like you want to improve at that area, or you want to do better or do well, find the person that's already doing it well, or find the person who wants to do it too, so that you guys can hold each other accountable and walk the walk together. Continue watching the video. I don't know what's gonna happen next. I don't know. This is not even me recording from editing headquarters. I am reporting live. So yeah, and I love you guys. I'll be back. I will be back. I'll be so back. There's something about quiet places that don't rush you, that don't need anything from you. And I didn't realize how much I needed that. A while ago, I stepped away from noise, from pressure, from constantly being on. And I was surrounded by other young people who were seeking the same things: peace, clarity, and an encounter with God. In that stillness, I also began to hear for myself again. And honestly, before going for the retreat, I thought I was doing well. I had my little routines that I was almost getting right. I had discipline here and there and small wins for the day. I would wake up early whenever I should, and I honestly showed up every day. I have tried. And of course, you may know that we live in a generation that celebrates that documents that, and that rewards that. It's not wrong to celebrate all of these beginnings and all of these little milestones, but I have started to question it and the kind of impact it may have on me and my life in the long run. When did small progress become something to glorify instead of something that we quietly build on? The honest truth is that beginnings are just that, beginnings. And I think sometimes we celebrate so loudly that we forget that we are still at the start. again, this is not to say that there's anything wrong with celebrating, embarking on a journey. But don't forget that that's what you're doing. You're embarking. You need to make sure you actually get to the other side of the journey. But I am starting to think that in some way we possibly are rewarding ourselves into comfort or even complacency. We affirm versions of ourselves that haven't been fully formed yet, and slowly, without realizing, for some, they just also stop becoming before they have become. And there's a difference between honoring growth and settling into illusion. In this case, the Lulu is definitely not the Solulu. There is a difference between acknowledging progress and convincing yourself, behaving and acting like a person who has finished the course or arrived. And I've seen it in my own life. Moments where I've paused too long or celebrated too soon and just lost momentum. So I also had to go on and question myself, who am I when there is no audience? Who am I becoming when no one is clapping? Because I also realized that some of these things I'm like, yay. I don't really celebrate a milestone like buy a cake for myself in a corner in my room and say I'm celebrating myself and it ends there. So who am I becoming when no one is clapping, when there's no audience, when I haven't seen somebody doing something and felt inspired, so inspired that I want to go and do it for myself? What is my own idea? What is my own desire? What is that thing that I want to do by my own self? Because we live in a world that constantly, indirectly tells us who to be, what to want, what success looks like, what's worth celebrating. And even when we think we are not influenced, we are by what we see repeatedly, by what we consume daily. These things shape us quietly, subtly, and powerfully. And that's why stepping away matters, because sometimes the desires are not even yours. The lifestyle, the routines, they aren't even yours. They may have been taught, modeled, and even absorbed. And if you never pause, you may spend your whole life chasing things that you never really chose. Being here reminded me of something simple but hard, that real transformation is quiet. It's not necessarily aesthetic. It's not always visible, and it's not always celebrated, simply because it doesn't have to be. What it is, though, it is consistent, it is disciplined, and it is honest. And I think for myself as an individual, I do not want to rush to celebrate every small win anymore. I want to respect the process, to stay the course, even when it's repetitive, even when it's unseen, because becoming takes time. And maybe that's the shift for me, not to despise small beginnings, but not to worship them either, to let them be what they are. Evidence that I've started, not proof that I have arrived, lest I fall for the false idea that I really have when I have not. So I am learning to move differently now, more quietly, more intentionally, more rooted, less performance, and more purpose. Because at the end of it all, it will take so much more to truly become. And I think I would like to also dedicate these efforts to celebrate small wins, and dedicate those efforts and the time put into that into building up momentum to actually get to the destination. And I think I am willing to stay long enough to see who I become on the other side.